Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to please give a resounding applause as we welcome to give his welcome address, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, the Chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission. Thank you so much for coming, sir. Thank you. Please keep on clapping until it gets here. Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, thank you for the great work you're doing with INEC. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope you can all hear me, because from this side of the hall there is an echo. But I hope you can all hear me loudly and clearly. Thank you. Let me start by recognizing the Inspector General of Police, Usman Al-Kali Baba, and Your Royal Majesty, the Oni of Ife, Oba Ade Ogunwusi Eneton, Ojaja II, Permanent Chairman of the Osun State Council of Obas, Permanent Chairman of the Southwest Council of Obas, and Co-Chairman of the National Council of Traditional Rulers. Let me now recognize the candidates and leaders of political parties for the election on Saturday. National Commissioners of the Independent National Electoral Commission, the Resident Electoral Commissioner for Osun State and other Resident Electoral Commissioners, the AIGs, the DIGs, the Commissioner of Police, Osun State, members of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security, national and international election observers, representatives of national and international media organizations, our invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to join the previous speakers to welcome you all to this very important engagement with stakeholders. In particular, I would like to welcome His Imperial Majesty, the Oni of Ife. Thank you, Kabiyesi, for your gracious presence. Let me also similarly and especially welcome the Inspector General of Police, Usman Al-Kali Baba, as the head of the lead agency in internal security in Nigeria. No Nigerian is in a better position to address the triple dimensions of securing the election in Osun on Saturday, before, during, and after, like the Inspector General of Police. So please reserve all your questions relating to security to the Inspector General of Police. He is here. Ask me all the questions relating to elections. We are here today because the Osun Governorship Election 2022 will hold this Saturday, after several months of preparations since the Commission released the timetable and schedule of activities in June last year. The election on Saturday is significant in many respects, not least because it is the last major off-cycle election before the 2023 general election, which is just 227 days, or 7 months and 5 days away. Over the last few months, but especially as the election draws near, the Commission has carefully listened to stakeholders across the board. As was the case in previous elections, various stakeholders would like to be given assurances in a number of critical areas. First is the transparency, inclusivity, and credibility of the elections. And secondly, its security and peaceful conduct. We are taking both issues very seriously. I'll speak about our preparations for the election. And I want to assure you that it's going to be free, fair, credible, transparent, inclusive, and conclusive with your support. For us in INEC, let me reassure political parties and candidates, as well as the electorate in Osun State, that the choice of who becomes the next governor of Osun State is entirely in the hands of voters in Osun State. We are not a political party. We have no candidate, in the election. As I have repeatedly said in previous engagements, INEC will not take any step to the advantage or disadvantage of any political party or any candidate. Our focus is on the processes and procedures as provided by law. So far, we have successfully implemented 12 out of 14 activities contained in the timetable and schedule of activities for the election. The only 2 outstanding activities are the last day of campaign by political parties, which ends at midnight on Thursday, 14th July, and election day activities on Saturday, 16 July 2022. The Commission has taken every step and made every arrangement for the successful conduct of the governorship election this weekend. We had consultative meetings with political parties and the candidates at state level. We had several engagements with security agencies at the national, state, and local government levels. We consulted widely with stakeholders. We sought for and received the blessings of the royal fathers and religious leaders. We have recruited, trained, and carefully screened all categories of ad hoc staff to be deployed to the field. All non-sensitive materials for the election have been delivered to all our 30 local government area offices across the state. Voter education and sensitization is ongoing. We have made arrangements for the transportation of personnel and materials to ensure that polling units open on schedule on election day. For more effective supervision of the process, INEC is deploying 5 national commissioners and 12 resident electoral commissioners and many senior officials to support our state office in Osun to deliver credible elections on Saturday. And many of the resident electoral commissioners are already here. Voter registration was carried out all over the state, including the devolution of the exercise to the 332 wards across the state. We have printed and delivered the permanent voters' cards for collection by all valid registrants in the state. When we visited Osun last week, I was here for about 4 days to assess our readiness for the election. Concerns were expressed about the availability of the PVCs, especially for those who applied for transfer of their registration to Osun State or to new locations within Osun State. I'm glad to report that we have delivered the PVCs for fresh registrants, transfers, and requests for replacement of cards, as well as lost, damaged, or incorrect personal details, such as names, dates of birth, etc., as provided by law. Furthermore, in our effort to ensure that more voters collect their PVCs before the election, the Commission took the following additional measures with effect from Thursday last week. 1, we devolved the collection of PVCs from our 30 local government offices to each of the 332 wards across the state, thereby increasing the number of collection centers and bringing the process closer to voters. Number 2, the Commission decided that our staff should work all days of the week, including the weekend and public holidays, to serve voters. Over the weekend, in spite of Salah, yesterday and even today, which is a public holiday, our officials are in all the wards, ensuring that registered voters collect their PVCs. Number 3, the Commission has extended the last date for the collection of PVCs to Thursday, 14th July 2022. That is 24 hours to the election. I appeal to all registered voters that are yet to collect their PVCs to see the opportunity of the additional measures to do so. Many of the PVCs have already been collected by citizens. Of the 1,955,657 registered voters in Osun State, 1,479,595, or 76% 70% have collected their cards as at Sunday, I'm sure the figure would have gone higher. So 70% of the 76% of the registered voters in Osun State have already collected their PVCs. We are also updating our records to provide detailed breakdown of PVCs collected by polling units. So you'll have the information of PVCs collected polling unit by polling unit throughout the state. This will be concluded and made available on Friday, 15th July 2022. That is a day to the election. This step is important because the total number of PVCs collected will be used to determine the margin of lead principle as against the total number of registered voters, in line with our regulations and guidelines for the conduct of elections 2022, derived from the provisions of the Electoral Act 2022. To underscore our commitment to an inclusive, credible, and transparent electoral process, the Commission is deploying assistive devices for persons with disabilities to have a more pleasant voting experience on election day. Magnifying glasses, braille ballot guide, and posters for voters with hard of hearing conditions will be deployed at polling unit level in areas of need based on the data collected in collaboration with the PWD community. Similarly, our revised regulations and guidelines provide for priority to be accorded at polling units to persons with disabilities without waiting in long queues during voting, as is the case with elderly people, pregnant women, and nursing mothers. But I must add, in the case of pregnant women, it should be visibly pregnant. Visibly pregnant women. And nursing mothers is also for only one child. Because I told this story in Ekiti, and I think it's good to share it here, that a colleague from Kenya once told me that because the Electoral Commission there, just like Nigeria, accords priority to nursing mothers, many women at the polling units wanted to jump the queue. So a very enterprising woman brought her child to the polling unit for hire. So any woman that wanted to jump the queue should just go and hire that child. After some time, the presiding officer was a bit alarmed. When he saw so many women coming with the same child, he stopped one of them. He said, "This child, how many mothers did he have?" So that's why we're emphasizing visibly pregnant women. But beyond these measures, we also want to make persons with disability to get more involved in election administration like everyone else. In this regard, the 2022 Osun State governorship election will also make history, being the first election in which INEC is deploying persons with disabilities as ad hoc staff. 35 serving NYSC members with one form of disability or another have been identified, trained, and engaged as ad hoc staff at polling unit level. I appeal to all stakeholders to cooperate with and protect them, as well as all other ad hoc staff, in our effort to make our electoral process more inclusive and participatory. So please, when you see them on Saturday at the polling units, please cooperate with them and protect them. The Commission continues to deploy technology in the electoral process, both as a matter of practice and as a requirement of the law. The bimodal voter accreditation system will be deployed for voter accreditation and uploading of election results on election day on the Commission's INEC results viewing portal, IREV. Steps have been taken to ensure that BVAS machines function optimally during voter accreditation based on lessons learned from the conduct of recent elections. A few weeks ago, mock exercises were conducted in polling units across Osun State. I personally observed the exercise in Oshogbo and Boripe LGS in Osun Central, as well as Ede South and Egbedore LGS in Osun West Senatorial District. I also visited our Ife Central, Ife East, and Ife North LGA offices in Osun East Senatorial District. We are encouraged by the successful outcome of the mock exercise and the level of preparation by our offices. We have also trained enough registration area technical support RATEX and made adequate transportation arrangements for their rapid response in the event of any reported glitches on election day. The Commission has accredited polling agents nominated by political parties for the 3,763 polling units, 332 ward collation centers, 30 local government area collation centers, and the state collation center where the final declaration of result will be made. As an indication of the intense national and international interest in the Osun 2022 governorship election, 87 observer groups, 79 domestic, and 8 international are deploying a total of 7,790 field observers, and all these have already been accredited by the Commission. Similarly, 94 media organizations, 92 national and 2 international, are deploying 624 journalists to cover the election, and they have all been accredited. On election day, the national headquarters of INEC in Abuja will monitor the election throughout Osun State. Our Zoom situation room will be activated. We are working to ensure that accredited observers and the media are invited to join us at intervals to provide live reports from the field. At the same time, citizens can contact us on our various platforms, such as the toll-free INEC Citizens Contact Center telephone line, in addition to our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram accounts. I cannot conclude my remarks without addressing a matter of serious concern to our elections. Here, I'm referring to sundry violations of our electoral law, including the diabolical practice of vote buying, in which voters are financially induced to vote one way or another. It is obvious that the more the Commission and other stakeholders work hard to progressively improve the quality of national elections in Nigeria, the more some retrogressive elements undermine the process. While we continue to work with the security and anti-corruption agencies to confront this challenge, our effort will be given a boost by the establishment of the Electoral Offenses Commission and Tribunal, as recommended by the West Committee in 2009, the Lemu Committee in 2011, and the Nnamani Committee in 2017. Happily, the Electoral Offenses Commission and Tribunal Bill is under consideration by the National Assembly. INEC supports this initiative and appeals to the National Assembly for a speedy conclusion and passage of the bill into law. Before I conclude, I would like to seize this opportunity to invite you all to the signing of the peace accord by political parties and candidates under the auspices of the National Peace Committee, chaired by our respected former head of state, General Abdul Salami Abubakar, GCFR. The occasion is holding in this hall at 10 a.m. tomorrow, Wednesday, 13th July 2022. The occasion is not holding at the earlier advertised venue, but rather it is holding in this very hall tomorrow at 10 o'clock, to which you are all invited. Once again, I welcome the Inspector General of Police. I welcome Your Royal Majesty the Oni, leaders and candidates of political parties, and all other stakeholders to this meeting. I wish to reassure you that the Commission has taken every step to ensure that the election this weekend is free, fair, transparent, credible, inclusive, and conclusive. But all this can only be achieved with your cooperation. What happened in Ekiti was possible simply because so many of the stakeholders cooperated and worked with INEC. We moved seamlessly to the polling units. We had no issues transferring election results electronically, and you saw it. We had no issues with the collation of results. We had no issues with transportation. Logistics was really well sorted out. I hope and pray that Osun will beat the record of Ekiti. On this note, I thank you all for your presence, and God bless you. Thank you.